Firefall's Yosemite National Park, a true natural wonder of the world. In the peak of winter, every few years, for just a few brief weeks, if the conditions are perfect, you might catch a glimpse of this spectacular phenomenon. Every year, thousands of onlookers, videographers, and photographers migrate to Yosemite. Here from the valley floor, you can trample around the meadows on the North Side Drive, and if you're lucky, maybe take a few photos. In 2021, the first winter of lifted pandemic restrictions, I chose to get away from the crowds and make my attempt to photograph the fire from the south rim. From above the valley floor, I witnessed the event like few have ever seen. Here's my story. This Yosemite television video is brought to you by Zing Mushroom Coffee. I enjoyed this super coffee before each and every hike. Loaded with 6 different medicinal mushrooms and extracts and Kona coffee beans, it gives me the long-lasting energy I need for my lifestyle. Click on the link below to get this delicious and energetic coffee a try. I planned for a 3-night sleepover on Sentinel Dome. There was a brief winter storm forecasted for Monday. Ideally, I would be able to photograph the falls Sunday and Tuesday evening, then head home the following morning. From scouting earlier in the summer, Sentinel seemed like it would be the best spot to get the right angle for witnessing the event. I made my way to Badger Pass, loaded my sled, and headed down Glacier Point Road. The day started great, with beautiful weather. Normally Glacier Point Road is groomed, making the travel fast and easy from Badger Pass. But for some reason, the groomed section was short, and I was in rough, deep snow not long after departure. This would make my 10-mile journey to Sentinel much slower than planned. I found a nice lunch spot with a beautiful view of Mount Star King and the Clark Range. I took a few photos, but I knew I couldn't stay long and had to keep moving. I was behind schedule and running out of light. After I found the trailhead for Sentinel Dome, the snow got deep. There were no tracks from previous skiers, so I had to break trail to the summit. I barely made it to camp and had just enough time to set up my tent before the sun went down. The following day, a light winter storm rolled through the valley. I spent the entire day in my sleeping bag, recovering from the day before. The hike in was more challenging than I had prepared for. Although the conditions were not very favorable, I was still able to take a few decent snapshots from this stormy day. On the third day, the sun peeked out from the Clark Range, and I took a little hike to plan my photo shoot for the sunset this evening. I was able to take some decent shots of Upper Yosemite Falls, still frozen from the winter storm. And a few shots of my campsite. Later that same day, I made my way back to the summit with all my gear. The weather looked promising and I wanted to set up early to make sure nothing went wrong. Everything was perfect. But then some clouds appeared. And then more. And just when I was beginning to lose hope and pack up my gear for the day, the clouds lifted. Golden hour had begun, so I got to work. Things were moving quickly. I have no idea how much time actually passed, but it went by in a blink of an eye. In this shot, you can see the sky showing a champagne type of color in the upper atmosphere, and then just a hint of magenta piercing through to Horsetail Falls. Then everything went dark, and I thought the show was over. And then the falls began to glow. And after a few moments, I was gifted the most amazing sunset of my life in the park. After that, the light slowly began to fade, and then darkness returned. I headed back to camp to get some sleep, and then headed home the following day. Hey everybody, me again. So I'm doing a breakdown of the events that occurred. I don't believe the video really portrays exactly how crazy it was. So here was the photo I took at golden hour. This is really the moment the clouds lifted up and finally revealed the valley. I thought it wasn't going to happen. Here's El Capitan. Here is Horsetail Falls, just starting to glow. And we're getting that champagne sky. We're getting a great silhouette on El Cap. And we're getting with this magenta color here, which is piercing through the clouds. This lower level of clouds is that laser beam that we will see later on the second photo. And this is the first few seconds of what is traditionally the Firefall event, which occurs only for a few seconds right at the end of the day at sunset. So it's happening now, but because of the atmospheric conditions, it's kind of it's developing slowly here. But so just after this photo was taken, there was a few minutes of almost complete darkness, like the entire event was over. And I'll show a picture of that. And then it was after that that the sun got low enough on the horizon that the real Firefall began. All right, so this is the actual moment of the Firefall. And after that period of darkness, the sun dropped below the clouds. And this laser beam from space appeared. Is the only way I can describe it. My theory is that because of the cloud cover, the light was on a normal Firefall day, there are no clouds in the valley, and basically the sunset, the light from that is bouncing, it's moving in a straight line in all directions and can escape the valley. But because we have this lid over the valley, the light was trapped through this small focused gap, and then bouncing back and forth underneath the clouds was able to make this laser beam effect. Just a theory, but if anyone else was here 2021 and saw this in person, please let me know. Yeah, slide into the DMs, text me, email me, whatever, but let's collaborate and figure out what really happened. Thanks for watching.